Welcome to day 18 of getting to 100K net worth by December 20th of this year. That's the goal at least, but day 18 of tracking all of this. Check it out. All right, net worth 6,874. And yeah, we got a ways to go. We went down just a little bit from yesterday and from the beginning of the month, but ultimately it was a good day. I kept up with my promise from yesterday. I went ahead and started editing videos. I got everything uploaded. It was a big file to upload 15 days of these vlogs, but we officially got started and I was able to edit all of them down, cut things, so it's a lot more direct and a lot easier to watch. But why don't we start today with a story. First of all, right after I recorded my video yesterday, my boss texted me and he was like, hey, I really have this idea. I'd just love to get a beginner's course out there. I really want to record some more videos of us teaching tax strategies and everything to people, paying a certain amount in tax, right? And he was like, really, if we could just offer this for $3,000 and then we make 350 sales. He's like, we're already halfway at the goal of getting to the 3 million. Now, if you don't know, if we get to 3 million, then I get a $100,000 bonus at my job. This would be life-changing, would be huge, and we've made some steps to get there, but this is quite a stretch though too. Don't just think it's being handed to me, right? Actually, I have a very modest salary and I get very kind of average commissions when I make sales, but this goal of helping our company revenue grow, it's a tricky one. I got to create products for us. I got to, implement all of these things. So I'm really doing my best here. And I think my encouragement to my boss has been a superpower and something that hopefully will help us cross that line as he takes action, as I help implement his vision and help us get to that 3 million mark. We can definitely get that bonus and reach our net worth goal. But that's not the only thing that I'm banking on, right? I am also, working on my own business. I had my first client this past week, which was a huge win, and I'm going to start offering social media services or video editing services in larger packages. I've also been talking to a lot of consultants lately, so I feel like I'll be a marketing consultant of sorts. Now, I mentioned that because it was really exciting to see my boss get on the same vision finally and to be like, we can surpass 1 million and get 1.5 million halfway to our goal, and just by keeping my eye on the vision and not getting lost in the weeds and just being an employee, but rather thinking like a business owner. How can we grow this? How can we get to our goal, right? So, all right, I have another story of the day, and it is that we were getting some messages from our real estate agent talking about, okay, how much are we doing in closing costs? And there's just been a lot of kind of back and forth with our lender. Like I mentioned in previous videos, they haven't been very direct with us as far as this is exactly what you're paying for or explaining it. We're first time home buyers. This is our first time doing the whole process. And while they have been pretty patient, I feel like right now we're in kind of like the hot seat, right? Of everyone's trying to kind of keep things ambiguous and just figure out how much extra we're willing to pay. And to my wife and I, that doesn't sound, like the most honest approach. And we've seen this happen in other areas of life. So like health insurance, or you go to the dentist, a lot of times they'll just be like, well, you have to do this. And, or when you sign up for insurance, they kind of keep everything very vague and confusing, and a lot of people are just like, oh, whatever, and you kind of get the idea of your deductible. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm one of those suckers that just, honestly, I am one of those suckers and I fell into it before. But now we are really doing our best to understand what exactly is happening. What am I paying for? How exactly does a deductible work? That's on the insurance side, right? I've also noticed as I've learned more about finances and investing, a lot of financial advisors and financial institutions also like to keep it very general. They don't necessarily educate you. They just tell you, hey, you're going to be investing in, the S&P 500, and we have a mutual fund that we actively manage, yada, yada, yada. Things that can confuse the brain when you're first learning, and you don't realize mutual funds, you're actually paying, to have this active management that is supposedly going to beat the market average and everything. And a lot of times it's just to benefit benefit the financial institution and to give them more revenue, or the financial advisor. And so it's really important, like the more that we educate ourselves and we really ask the hard questions as people are trying to, just confuse things and like figure out, okay, well, how much are you able to pay, and just trying to get a number from us, which is also a sales tactic when you're making a deal, is get the other person to say a number first. And that's why we have a number, but it's a low number, and we always like started there, and they're trying to get us to pay more and all this stuff. But I think it's really important to, like, the reason I bring this up is because my wife called me and she was like, I just want to know exactly what I'm paying for. I really need to understand what's going on and see what's happening, because I'm not about to pay extra thousands of dollars just for, fees that aren't necessary. And also for them, like our lender was like, we have a credit for you that's, $5,000 off of what you're doing because you're a first-time home buyer and all this stuff. And then didn't put that on our financial sheet that we were signing and everything. And it just kind of rubbed us the wrong way. And now we're very much like, okay, we need to understand what's going on here. And she said, like, we're going to count that and we'll get it on there at closing. And now there's just getting some confusion here on closing day with just a lot of things in the air and people kind of pressuring us. And also we do have pressure because our lease is about to be up and we have to move out before the end of the month. And we're on June 18th and we have to be out by the end of June because we're going to a family reunion first week of July, and then we're supposed to be moved out by July 13th. So craziness, everything's kind of moving. But I think my lesson of the day there, my big takeaway is to be more like Victoria, be more like my wife. She's amazing. Just to really understand what your costs are and to ask the questions. Like, don't be afraid to just ask, what am I paying for? Can you explain that to me, please? Can you simplify it for me? ChatGPT is a good teacher too for things like this. I also use a financial app called Zogo, a financial education app, and pretty much like Duolingo style, different modules that you go through and learn different financial principles, which I really liked and learned quite a bit from. So, all right, accountability actions for the day is going to be continue to edit the videos. So now that I've got them, edited down, kind of cut up, I need to create a separate file for each video so that I can easily upload it to YouTube. So today I'd like to create all of those files, and I want to create like a little intro at the beginning of every video. I think that would be really neat, like, hey, I'm doing this journey. So we're just doing the YouTube videos today, but by tomorrow I would also like to do the YouTube shorts, TikTok, all of that, because I really just want to get everything knocked out, just boom, boom, boom. So ultimately that is my next step, so I'm just going to work on that. And you know what, I'm really enjoying it. I've realized that I'm starting to like feel more me, and I really enjoy talking about these things, sharing about the journey and everything, and hopefully it's educational, somewhat entertaining. I know I'm just kind of talking off the cuff right now, but I think it's fun and hopefully helpful. All right, my prompt challenge for you guys for the day is be more like my wife, ask those questions. I'm tired of the feeling, ambiguous and like not understanding concepts and things like that. Like, it's really time to understand exactly what's going on. I've also noticed this in my job with all the tax strategies and stuff. A lot of business owners that I talk to come in and they're just like, I just do not understand it, right? And a lot of other companies will totally take advantage of that and just kind of give them strategies, general things. And that's one thing that I love about our company, is that we really try to explain things, provide education for our business owners. And I think we're going to become the #1 tax advisor group ever, and we're going to make a really big dent just in the next year, 2 years. It's going to be amazing. But this year is going to be huge for getting our course out there, starting to educate, really just blowing up. So anyway, there's a lot of good stuff here. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I'm trying to think if I have any other like thoughts for the day, anything else that I could share. Yeah, just, going on walks has been something that helps for sure. And I think just consistently working towards something, and just keeping our eye on the prize and finding moments of joy, like I've been talking about, has been a big theme. And, now that I have like the family reunion coming up in a couple weeks, I'm just it's nice. It's motivating. It's like, okay, I have something coming up. Like, I'm going to do my best before I go, like really knock out as many things as I can. And I think if I start stacking more of those things, like, oh, there's some really fun things coming up that I have planned for myself, then it's almost like I'm rewarding myself to go have fun, the whole work hard, play hard thing. And I want to be better at that, because sometimes I get lost in the like, am I just slaving away forever just to get to $100,000, just to get to this number? And it's not about that. It's, you know, it's about what it provides. And it's also about having joy on the journey right now, learning to, you know, to enjoy the evenings. Yes, I'm going to go work and edit YouTube videos and stuff, but I'm also going to have a delicious meal right now. I might ride my scooter. I have like a little electric scooter that I take to work. I might ride that over to Jimmy John's and grab a nice sandwich real quick and just, you know, I'm going to take the dogs for a walk right now. I know they're excited. Actually, isn't that like the magic word with you guys? Hey, you guys want to go on a walk? Who wants to go on a walk? You guys want to go on a walk? Is it walk time? Is it walk time? Is it walk time? I guess it's walk time, guys. So thanks so much for watching this video, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Have a good one. Whoa.